What's up, family? It's your boy John Bacon from the Bacon Bits Podcast. Thank you so much for your support, likes, and ratings. Please don't just listen, but rate me, follow me, and subscribe. This is an amazing way to offer free support. My beautiful queen and I have some books that we have written for your growth.
So the first book we have is a workbook. Actually, it's called Healthy Relationships, and this is a workbook through the lens of faith. Because what makes a relationship healthy or unhealthy? So this workbook is designed, it's a 12-week, it's a biblically grounded course, and every week has a few different principles. So some of our principles, some of our topics that we're covering are respect, cultivating security. And this is not just between a husband and wife. This is between parents, between siblings, between friends, between your bosses, employers. So it's really important, and everyone deserves a healthy relationship.
And also we have The Balanced Life by John Bacon. It covers how to be prosperous in your finances, relationships, your health, your mind, and your spirit. And we also have
The Unraveling, a creative healing journal, pinings, poems, prayers, and ponderings of my precarious life. I've had a testimony of I've had 2 brain tumors and 2 brain surgeries, and I'm super grateful, but I'm still grieving the process of healing. And this is part of the process. In this book, you have devotionals, you have prayers, and you have some ponderings. And in between these pages, there's a space for you to also be prompted to paint and to create your own, or maybe you want to write something in these books. This is part of your creative healing journal that we get to walk through together.
And you guys can just head over to Kingdom Servants First. Kingdom Servants, the number 1, st.com. And you can purchase all 3 of these books. Thank you for your support, your love, and your contributions. God bless. Welcome, family, to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast is that you will always be encouraged, uplifted, and informative. The areas of life that we will be talking about on this Bacon Bits Podcast is dealing with having a balanced life. The name of this podcast is called Legacy. What kind of legacy are you leaving behind to your loved ones? This is a very important and topic that I really love talking about, because whether we want to or not, you are leaving behind a legacy, and you want to understand and figure out what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind. So I'm blessed to work at a drug and alcohol detox facility here in Tucson, Arizona. And one of the classes that I teach to get people's mind focused on living a better life is legacy. And 2 of the exercises that I have the guys do is, one is I want them to write down every positive thing they can remember somebody ever saying about them. Because a major thing that happens in recovery is a lot of people don't love themselves. And that ain't just in recovery, that's in life, period, as a whole. And one of the things I want to work on people with is for them to love themselves. And part of loving themselves is being able to hear other people give them encouragement, give them words of advice, give them great encouraging words in their life. So I think about over the course of our lifetime, a lot of us remember exactly the people that have said wonderful words about us that kept us encouraged and kept us going. So Miss Rain Miller, who was my kindergarten teacher at Garfield Elementary School in Flint, Michigan, shout out. She passed away, but man, when she told me as a kid that I could be whatever I wanted to be, guys, I'm 55 years old, and I still believe, because of her words, I still believe I can be whatever I want to be. And the reason I'm on this podcast is because I hear her voice in the back of my mind saying, John, you can be whatever you wanted to be. And then I used to have the guys on the block used to say, man, John, for your age, man, you pretty wise, bro. Guess what? As I'm bringing it up to y'all now, I'm 55 once again. And these were things that I heard some men say about me when I was a teenager. And these things are important, man. I can still remember being on the playground and girls teasing me about having long eyelashes. So I always remember all those little things that people said about me, and I've always kept them playing in the back of my mind. So you always want to ask yourself the question, man, what is all those wonderful things that people have said about me over the course of my life? I want you to literally pull out some paper and write those things down. Because when you have those low moments, I need you to look at that piece of paper, look at yourself in the mirror, and I need you to quote out loud to yourself those things that other people have said about you. Notice that you didn't say it about you. Notice you didn't make the other people say it about you. It was something that they seen in you that made them want to say that stuff out loud. And you know how many times we be seeing wonderful things happening around us, but we never say to that person, man, I really appreciate how did you handle that client? I really appreciate that meal you gave me. I really appreciate you opening the door for me. We have got to do that more as a society. Is when we see somebody do something nice for us, man, please say that stuff out loud. So legacy. And then one of the exercises I also had the guys do is when you die, it's going to sound a little bit morbid. When you die, what would you want people to say at your funeral? I want you to write that down. What would you want them to say? Well, he was a positive person. So guess what kind of life you got to start living? Positive. He was an encouraging person. You got to start encouraging. So it's all those things that you want to be remembered for. I want you to start living those things out right now. One of the many reasons why I started off doing Bacon Bits in the first place on Facebook was because I always wanted my kids to be able to look back over their life and look back over the life we had together and see some of the bits of information that I've given them that has helped them become the young men and young women that they are today. I always want to leave behind a phenomenal impression to my babies. I want them to see the phenomenal love I have for my habanero sugar, my queen. And I want my daughters to see how it is to be loved by a man. I want my wonderful sons to see what it is to be a man from what they see, not just what they hear me say. Because a lot of us as children, we caught way more from our parents from what we seen them do than what we say it. So I always want to show them from example of how to live a phenomenal life. And the reason why I wrote my book is because I want them to have something they can go back and read and see what was Dad's thought process when he was writing this book about a balanced life. You know, how can I handle my finances? How can I handle my relationships? How can I handle my health? How can I handle my thought process? What are my beliefs about God? I wanted my kids to have something as a legacy behind because I wanted to be a great dad. I believe I'm a great dad and I love being a dad. And it was all stemmed from my dad not being there for me. And my dad left behind a legacy. And according to me, it's a legacy of what not to do. So I always wanted to reverse what he did and become the man that I wish I would have had as a dad. So my dad didn't ever hug me, never had him hug me. I hug my kids every time I see him. I never had my dad kiss me. I kiss my boys all the time, as well as my girls. And I never heard my dad say, I'm proud of you. And I wanted to make sure that my babies know for a fact that I love them. So what do you want your legacy to be? What you want people to remember you by? The cool part about discovering what you want your legacy to be is that you have to start living that out today. You have to start living that out right now. Don't you wait, because there's no guarantee of when we're going to leave this planet. The one thing that I like saying is, man, God is going to determine how long you live. But you get to determine a lot of the quality of your life. He deals with the quantity, but you deal a lot with the quality. So what kind of quality life do you want to leave behind to the people that you say you love? You get to determine that because, man, people are watching you all the time, whether you want them to or not. So they're coming up with an opinion about you. And, you know, most of us will be, you know, headstrong and, you know, be all rebellious and be like, I don't care what other people think about me. Deep down, we do care because we're born as people that need to communicate with other people. So you want to understand what is that kind of life that you're leaving behind. I want to be inspiring. I want to be encouraging. I want to be a person that always seen the positive side. I want to be a person that always reflected on the very things that they're going through at the moment and not putting it off, not blowing it off. One of the reasons why I work at a drug and alcohol facility is because I do not want kids to feel what I felt as a kid. My dad was alcoholic. I was heading towards that way. I had my couple of years of cocaine and alcohol. myself, but I made sure, I'm like, Lord, I've seen what it done to the family, and I can't have this happen. So one of the things you want to do is watch the kind of legacy you leave behind. If you don't have any kids, you got some nephews and nieces that's watching you closely, and every move you make, they are wanting to imitate the very things that you do. So you want to ask yourself the question, can I live the kind of life in front of them that I'm living right now? Legacy, man, it is such an awesome topic to talk about, because we live in a society that we always want to just, when we say you only live once, so live in the moment, but we never think sometime about the bigger picture. One of the things about legacy that I really love, it is always play the movie out. So the decision that you're about to make right now, I want you to play that movie out to the end. So I'm in the process of changing my mindset over to accumulate more money so we can live more comfortably. No hidden agenda. I know I want to make a little bit more money. So I play it out. How much time will I spend away from my family now to enjoy the kind of life that I want us to have? Play that out. What decisions am I making right now so that they can live a more bountiful life and we can live a more bountiful life? Play that out. I think about one of the vows that I made to myself at 18 that I said I would work out for the rest of my life. I think taking care of the body that you got to walk around in is one of the most beautiful things you could ever do. I made a vow at 18 to work out for the rest of my life. I am 55 years old, and thank God, according to right now, no aches and no pains. And it's because that vow I made to myself as a legacy vow that I would always take care of my body, whether that's taking vitamins, and we will definitely be talking about that in a future broadcast, making sure you're eating right, making sure you're doing some kind of body movement. It is really important that you take care of your body, because you can't leave behind a great legacy if you're not taking care of the wonderful temple that you've been blessed to walk around in. So when you're talking about legacy, what are the things that you're doing intentionally to live a great life? Because sometimes we just go through life, man, and we're just doing the everyday things. We get up in the morning, get a cup of coffee, eat breakfast, go to work, come home, watch some TV, go to bed, and we do the same thing. It's almost like Groundhog Day that we're doing over and over again. And I am so glad that I've been given this wonderful opportunity to start a podcast. And this is one of the many things that I want to do. I love encouraging people. I love it, man. It is one of the most phenomenal things in the world, because I have a desire to want to encourage people. And every time I encourage people, I end up getting encouraged. Every time I inspire people, I end up getting inspired. So it's always a win-win for everybody when it is that I'm doing what it is that I've been passionate about for the last 30 years. Love helping people. And that's the kind of legacy I want to leave behind. And I think about some of the people that have left a legacy behind for me. I had my wonderful Uncle James Edwards. He worked for General Motors for 50 years and did not miss one day of work. And I love the fact that, man, I want my work ethic to be like my Uncle James. He left behind a wonderful legacy. Work ethic was off the chain. Never complained, never moaned, never whined about his job. He loved going to work and doing what he did. And I love saying for the last 30 years, I've actually had a chance to do what it is that I love to do in helping people, man. I couldn't live my life without helping people. I mean, literally, it is like my drug of choice, if I had to say it like that, is helping people. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Who are the people that you're helping? Who are the people that had a major influence in your life? Who are the people that when you watch them, you just say, man, I just got to do something to live my life according to how they're living their lives, man. They are such wonderful people, man, and they just do what they do naturally. They don't have to, work at it. It's just something that's just built into them. And when you think about your legacy, what do you want to leave behind? Look at your beautiful babies. What do you want them to remember you for? Look at your wonderful spouse, if you're married or you have a significant other. What is that thing that you want them to remember you for? Are you living your life out, or are you just existing? Like I said, we've all going to leave a legacy behind, but you always have the ability. You have the say-so and what kind of legacy you leave behind. please, I beg of you, and you guys are going to hear me doing a lot of keep sweat begging on my podcast. I beg of you to start living the kind of life that you want to leave as a legacy to your people. Leave behind a legacy for the next person that's coming up behind you. Leave behind a legacy for your loved ones. Leave behind a legacy for those who are striving to go to the next level, and they see you and that provokes them to want to go to the next level. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? A legacy of, I don't want my kids to have to stand on the corner and put up signs to raise money at a car wash because I didn't leave a legacy of enough financial blessings for my kids, man. The kind of legacy I want to leave behind is I want them to see how much I love my queen and how they're supposed to be loved and how it is to be loved. I want my babies to see. I want them to have a full life. I don't want them to be one-dimensional. Man, they going so hard after finances, man, that they blew their relationships. I don't want to see them going so hard after money that their health is shot. I don't want to be so much, caught up on their physical physique and all that they forget the people that they love and they're walking around broke. I don't want my babies to be so, pursuing so much education that they forget that, guess what? They're human too. They're going to have their flaws. They're going to have emotional breakdowns and they're going to have the things that they go through. But man, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? You have all the say when it comes to that. Think about it. I want you really to ponder on that. Because one day you're going to be gone. This life is going to be over. And when you want to ask yourself the question, what will you be remembered for? You won't be here to see it. But man, so many people's lives will be affected from the void that's missing because you are not there. And I pray that that was something positive that you could embark on and leave to the people that you're around. Think about that every day, every moment. What is the legacy you want to leave behind? Did you leave a great impression on people? Did you build them up? Did you lift them up? Did you encourage them? Did you put a little smile on their face? Did you say hello to the people that you were around? Did you give people a hand up every time you were around people? It's never too late. You still can do that. There might have been some things that you've done in your lifetime that you're not proud of, man. But you can always turn it around and end on a great note. We had that famous cliche, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. How are you going to finish your life? And it ain't too early to start doing that right now. It's never too early. Never too early. Start thinking about that now. Some of the driving force that you'll have in your life is thinking about the legacy that you want to leave behind to those that you love. This is your boy, Sean Bacon, with another segment of Bacon Bits. And don't forget to head over to kingdomservantsfirst.com. kingdomservants1st.com and purchase all 3 books. Love you guys. God bless.